Alright guys, today we're going to look at solving one and two-step equations. So as you can see for number one, I've drawn a line down from the equal sign that separates the two sides. So we want the left side and the right side to be equal. So in order to do that, we're going to do the inverse of 12, or the opposite of 12, which is minus 12. And what we do to one side, we do to the other side. So 12 minus 12 cancels. Bring down my variable, m equals 10 minus 12 is negative 2. And you should be able to plug that in and see that it works. Negative 2 plus 12 equals 10. So that works. Okay? Alright, so for number 2, I'm going to draw my line. I'm solving for the unknown, which in this case is g. So the opposite, or the inverse, of minus 9 is plus 9. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides because, again, it's an equation. We want to keep it equal. So to keep it equal, we have to do the same thing. So g equals negative 2 plus 9 is 7. And again, we can plug it in and check it. 7 minus 9 is negative 2. And that works. And I drew right over that. I'm sorry. So that is 7. All right, moving on, number 3. Draw my line to keep my equation separated. I'm solving for y. I have multiplication. The opposite or inverse of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 7. So negative 91 divided by negative 7 is positive 13. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, the same as two negatives multiplied together is a positive. All right, again, you can plug that in. Negative 7 times 13 gives you negative 91. All right, number 4, we have a quotient or division. So we're solving for a, so we need to multiply both sides by 9. Multiplication is the inverse of division, so 9's cancel on the left, and a equals negative 36, negative 4 times 9. Again, you can check that. Negative 36 divided by 9 equals negative 4, so the two sides are equal. All right, moving on to number 5. So number 5 is 2/3 x equals 10. So we are solving for x, and we need to get rid of that 2/3. So you can do it in one easy step by multiplying by the reciprocal. If you remember, a fraction has a reciprocal that is just the inverse of this number. So we're going to do 3/2, multiply both sides by the same thing. Again, 3/2 times 2/3, that gives us 6/6. Any number divided by itself is 1, so that side cancels. X equals, and 10 times 3/2, that's like 1.5 times 10, so that would be 15. If you need to use your calculator sometimes, that's fine, but try to make these logical in your head. Like 1 times 10 is 10. 1.5, 3/2 is the same as 1.5. 1.5 times 10 is 10 plus half of 10, which is 5, so that gives you 15. And 2/3 of 15 equals 10. All right, number 6, same thing. I need to multiply both sides by 9/4, which is the reciprocal. Multiply by 9/4. And W equals, here you can simplify this. You can put this over 1. 8 and 4 both can be reduced by 4, so you can reduce that. And that gives you negative 2 times 9, which is negative 18. Again, if you need a calculator, I know a lot of you guys don't like fractions, but try to make sense out of these. Fractions are just numbers that we use all the time as well. All right, now you can check that by doing 4/9 of -18 and make sure you get -8. All right, number 7 and 8 are very similar. The only difference is there is a negative number. So we're going to quickly, I'm going to show you that you just need to multiply by -5/6, -5/6, and when you multiply 12 times -5/6, and you can just enter that straight in your calculator. That may be a little harder to do, but if you reduce the 12 and the 6 by 6, you're just going to get 2 times -5, which is -10. So don't think of the -6, even though it looks a little more confusing, it's not too bad. All right, number 8, multiply by -2/1 or -2. And again, remember that a -9 times a -2 is a +18. Again, plug it in and check it. Half of 18 is 9 times the -1, so that one works as well. Okay, so I'm going to check these. I've checked them. Make sure that you check them. Make sure they make sense. And if not, ask questions. All right, if you need to pause the video, go ahead and do so. Make sure you take good notes. And then start it back when you're ready. All right, two-step equations. To solve a two-step equation, first you're going to undo the addition and subtraction. Then you're going to undo the multiplication and division. So, number 9, we still have an equation. We are solving for x, so we want to get x by itself. So we're going to first undo the addition in this problem. Means we're going to undo 8, which is -8. We're going to bring down the 6x equals 50 minus 8 is 42. And then we have to undo multiplication with division. So divide both sides by 6. And that leaves x equals 7. Then again, check it. 7 times 6 is 42. 42 plus 8 is 50. So that works. All right, number 10. Undo the subtractions. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. I've got 2n equals 11 plus 5 is 16. Divide both sides by 2. N equals 8. Now, 8 times 2 is 16. 16 minus 5 is 11. Again, you want to check those to make sure that they are correct. All right, number 11. I'm solving for k. So I'm going to subtract 9 on both sides. So I'm going to have -4k equals 13 minus 9 is 4, and then divide by -4, and k equals 4 divided by 4 is 1, so 4 divided by -4 is -1. So you can rewrite that with the variable on the left, k equals -1. All right, when you do that, plug it in and check it. -1 times -4 is +4. 4 plus 9 is 13. All right, moving on. Now we have y. We're going to solve for y by first subtracting 7. When there's no sign in front of the number, that means it's a positive number there. So that's how we know to subtract. I'm going to bring down my -3y. Be very careful not to lose this negative. Okay, that negative goes with the 3, not the 7. So it's still there. So we've got 34 minus 7 equals 27. And then the opposite of multiplication is division. And we're trying to get the variable by itself again, so we want y by itself. So anything divided by itself is just 1. 1y is the same thing as y. So y equals 27 divided by negative 3, a positive and a negative. When multiplying or dividing gives me that negative number. All right, again, you can plug it in and check it. Negative 9 times negative 3, 27, plus 7 is 34.